Welcome to my channel. I want us to look at the recent statements or views expressed by Festus Keyamo, the spokesperson of the APC Presidential Campaign Council. Festus Keyamo said some things in his recent appearance at Channels Television's Politics Today. And in fact, he said that for the top three presidential candidates, he meant Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the APC, Peter Obi of the Labour Party, and Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party. He said that of all the three leading presidential candidates, Atiku Abubakar is the least qualified to be president in 2023 in terms of capacity. He concluded that Atiku has the least of capacities compared to the other two candidates. And he said that PDP of Labour Party has more capacity or better capacity than Atiku Abubakar, because according to him, both PTOB and Atiku Abubakar, both PTOB and Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the APC have had executive experience, unlike Atiku Abubakar, according to what Keyamo was saying. He said that Atiku Abubakar had only been a vice president, and that being a vice president is not an executive position. So that is why he's putting PTOB ahead of Atiku Abubakar. Look at what he said. Let me read for you what he said. He said that Obi is ahead of Atiku in terms of capacity to make decisions. So how are we going to hand the country to somebody who has never held a position, who has never shown capacity, where he makes the final call? Atiku Abubakar is not tested. He is not trusted. He has never held such a position, even though Obi is ahead of him. He was vice president. He was not the chief executive. He was never a governor. He was never anything, even though Obi is ahead of Atiku Abubakar. That was his conclusion. And of course, we know that constitutionally, a vice president of Nigeria does not have executive power as such. Most of the powers he wields is at the discretion of the president. Of course, we know that the vice president is head of the Economic Council and all that. But even at that, whatever decision they take will eventually end up at the table of the president, who have to take the final decision on which way to go. So on that score, he was right. But he was not entirely right that Atiku has never been governor. He has been governor, but I doubt if he has ever been sworn in as governor, because in 1999, when he married the vice presidential candidate of President Olusegun Obasanjo, he had already won the governorship position of Adamawa State. But I doubt if he had ever taken any executive decision in that state. He was never sworn in. So Atiku Keyamo can also be said to be right in that position. But what Festus Keyamo failed to admit is that PTOB is also better than his own candidate, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in terms of the challenges that the country faces. This country is facing existential challenge. This country is facing challenges of economic collapse. This country is having a runaway inflation. So it is not true that Obi is not better than his own candidate. Obi is better than his own candidate because this economic problem or challenges that we are facing now is somebody like Mr. Obi who can actually address it, because we country need a good economic manager right now. A good economic manager who can be able to midwife the country out of this serious economic challenge that the country is facing right now. And there are a lot of reasons why Obi is better. Obi is not beholden to any special interest. Obi is not attached to any special interest because Obi himself fought special interest in Anambra State. If you recall, by the time Obi contested the election in 2003, Anambra was in the firm grip of godfathers of various shades of the PDP. Anambra was dominated by PDP. Yet, Obi was able to use a little known party at that time, ABGA, to defeat PDP and won the governorship election. And he was able to manage a state in which there are so many godfathers and the PDP was the dominant party. The whole of the State House of Assembly were all PDP members. That was why it was easy for them to impeach Peter Obi during his first term. Yet, Mr. Peter Obi was able to maneuver his way and contend with these forces and was still able to deliver for Anambra State. Let me tell you, Anambra State is one of the most difficult states to govern because Anambra State has per square kilometers of highest numbers of billionaires and millionaires, multi-millionaires in this country. So there are so many rich people, so much ego in Anambra State. That was why before Peter Obi, nobody had ever succeeded to do second term in Anambra State. So Peter Obi was able to contend with these forces. And right now in Nigeria, the president we need in 2023 is a president who will not be beholden to any special interest because the country is in dire straits. It doesn't need a leader who will prevaricate, a leader who will pander to certain interests before arriving at a decision, because there are hard decisions that have to be taken. Look at what is happening in the petroleum sector. What is happening there? You need somebody who have no special interest to be able to sanitize it. Somebody need to sanitize it, and you don't need somebody who will be beholden to special interests. Because you know that the subsidy regime in Nigeria, they are made up of cabals. And who else can be able to handle these cabals? That's somebody who have handled cabals in Anambra State. I was able to triumph over them. I was able to, despite everything, the roadblocks they put on his way, impeaching him, he went to court and the court brought him back and he left in a blaze of glory, leaving behind 75 billion naira as savings for his successor. Nigeria needs somebody to sanitize the subsidy regime, and you need somebody who will not pander to special interests. Now, You cannot say the same about Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. Asiwaju Bola Tinubu is himself part of the special interest that needs to be done away with in Nigeria, because he is a godfather himself. And we all know that that godfatherism is the reason why he has held Lagos with firm grip. And if you are a person who understood how godfathers operate, whether in the mafia, Italian mafia system, or in political system, they operate similarly. They have to pay off special interest. If you see any godfather, go and study any godfather you know, you have read about in Italy, in United States. They survive by payoffs. Any godfather that have lasted, whether it is in New York or in Sicily or in politics, they survive by payoffs. Tinubu is a godfather. He determines who becomes governor of Lagos State. It is at his mercy that even you can become a member of the House of Assembly or local government chairman. But Tinubu cannot do it alone. Looking at him now, you know that he's aged, but he cannot enforce anything, but he has enforcers. So those enforcers have to be paid off. There's pay off for them to be able to sustain the system. And where are they getting the money to pay off to sustain the godfatherism? It is from the state cover. That is not what Nigeria needs right now. We don't need a president that have to be oiling the wheels of special political interests. We need a president that has a mind of his own, who is not beholden to anyone. Because the task ahead requires serious decision taking, only in the best interest of the country, and not in the best interest of special interest groups who the principal need to be able to sustain his position. So that Lagos is in the firm grip of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu is because he is a godfather. And godfathers do not sustain their positions ordinarily. It is by payoffs of all the special interests so that they can continue to maintain their position and survive. And Tinubu has been adept at it. There are so many people that try to be godfathers, but they have fallen by the wayside. I remember Joseph Kanu. He wanted to be a godfather, but he has fallen off the ladder of the ladder of godfatherism. So many other people, they couldn't sustain it because it's not easy. But Tinubu was able to do it, and he would like to maintain that godfather machinery that he has in Lagos, and even ensure that he continue to spread nationwide, so that he can be able to return back on second term. Because once you elect him, his next target is to be re-elected. So he began to use the treasury of the state to sustain those special interests. Because that's what politicians do. Especially those who have been adepts in practicing godfatherism, whether it is in the mafia system or in the political system. That is how it works. All these people you hear that they are loyal to Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, they are not doing it out of charity. So in that kind of situation, you cannot say that Tinubu is the kind of president you need when you have a serious challenge in the country that needed a prudent manager of resources. Tinubu will not be able to manage the economy of Nigeria prudently because he has so many special interests within Lagos and beyond Lagos. So we need a president that can have a mind of his own, without thinking about any special interest. The only special interest this president should be thinking about is Nigeria. And Peter Obi, I posit that he is one candidate, one presidential candidate that has no special interest compared to Asiwaju Bola Tinubu and Atiku Abubakar. Because Atiku Abubakar also fall under the bracket of those who have so many special interests. Because when you hear that Atiku Abubakar has structures, they tell you Atiku Abubakar has structures. Those structures they are talking about, that he has people that he maintains with his finances. Okay? So that's not what the country will need going forward in 2023. Because it's a time that Nigerian youths are saying that they need a new Nigeria. They need a new Nigeria. Before I go further to discuss other reasons why Peter Obi of the Labour Party is better than Asiwaju Bola Tinubu and Atiku Abubakar, as the case may be. Now, the country, as the case may be, and if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. Thank you very much. Now, the country is having a serious debt challenge. Nigeria is in serious debt mess. Our foreign debt has never been this bad. If you remember, President Olusegun Obasanjo and Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, when she was the Minister of Finance, helped Nigeria to exit from indebtedness to the Paris Club and the international financial institutions, other financial institutions. Now we are back again. We are now at the rate that we are now debt trapped. We cannot even earn enough money to service our debts. It's a time that we need a leader who can be able to address the problem of Nigeria in terms of indebtedness to foreign interests. And who better to handle this than Mr. Peter Obi, who has been shown example of financial prudence in terms of management of resources, in terms of savings of resources. If you remember, by the time Peter Obi became governor of Anambra State was in debt. Peter Obi handled the whole of indebtedness of Anambra State. Anambra State was owing workers' salary for several years. Peter Obi addressed all that. And he brought his financial knowledge to bear in his dealings in Anambra State. And that is what the country needs if we are to exit from this debt quagmire that we find ourselves right now under this administration. And you need a president who can be able to galvanize the international financial system. Somebody they will trust. Mr. Peter Obi has the trust of the international community, international financial system. He has done business uninterrupted in UK for over 10 years, living in and doing business in UK. His record as a businessman is in UK is a squeaky clean. Nobody has ever accused him of anything bad. And you know the legal system in UK. You can't do shady business in UK and you get away with it. He has the integrity that is required to mobilize the international financial system in favor of Nigeria, to be able to cut down our debts, to be able to give them encouragement that Nigeria will be able to settle our debts and still function effectively in all the instruments of states to avoid a total collapse of this country economically. P2P is the one that can do it. His other contenders, I doubt if the international community will trust them, because there are so many allegations about some of them that they cannot travel to certain countries, they cannot visit to certain countries. The allegation is all open there in the media. You don't need a president who his capacity to travel is questionable. Of course, a president who can only travel because he has now become president and have immunity. We need a president who can travel all over the world right now, even without having the immunity of the presidential office. Because if you are a presidential candidate and you cannot travel around the world, in some part of the world, and you only do it, you can only be able to do that if you have the immunity of the office, then the international community will not trust you to handle this issue that is facing Nigeria of debts overhang that the country is actually finding it difficult to gain the confidence of the international community to get out of it. So Mr. Peter Obi, in that score, is better than Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Is better than Atiku Abubakar. It's a given. It's better than them. If we are to be sincere with ourselves. And like I was talking about the issue of prudent management of resources. When you have a situation where the revenue is not enough to pay your debts, the revenue is not enough for you to even pay civil servants their salary, and you have to go and borrow money to do all this. Mr. Peter Obi is better qualified to handle this. He has shown the capacity to manage a state like Anambra State that do not have much resources, that its federal allocation is one of the least in the country. Yet he was able to save money. He was able to deliver on infrastructure. So we need a prudent manager of resources. And Mr. Peter Obi fits that position better than Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu or Atiku Abubakar. You also know that this country is facing serious challenge of corruption. The reason why this country is the way it is today is because of corruption. We need a president in 2023 who will not compromise on transparency, accountability, and prudent management of resources. Somebody who will fight corruption and who his lifestyle, his record show that he is not tolerant of corruption. Of these two other candidates, of these three candidates, Mr. Peter Obi stands out. I can tell you for free, any day Nigerians see Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Atiku Abubakar climb the stage and say they will fight corruption, it will sound funny in the ears of many Nigerians, and they will not believe them. Thank you for watching this video. Please, if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, subscribe to my channel. hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you.